Okay, zeros, multiplicity, and long division. So this goes along with graphing a little bit, especially the zeros and multiplicity. But, so zeros, we've talked about zeros a little bit. When you were factoring to solve, I told you guys factoring was not going away. We factor in this unit. We factor in every single unit. You have to get factoring down. But the zeros are the x-intercepts. Okay, they're also called zeros. A polynomial function of degree n can have at most n real zeros. So if it's like a degree 4, it could have at most 4 real zeros. If it was a degree 7, it could have at most 7 real zeros. And an even polynomial has an even number of zeros. An odd polynomial has an odd number of zeros. Okay, and then the solution to the equation f of x equals 0 are the zeros of the function, and they're also called the roots. Okay, and if x equals c is a solution to the equation, then x minus c is a linear factor. And let's look at this example right here. So if you're given x cubed plus 5x squared minus 24x, and we want to find the linear factors. Well, the way we are going to do that is we're going to factor this. So I'm going to divide out that x, and you get x and then x squared plus 5x minus 24. Well, that x squared plus 5x minus 24 factors to x plus 8 and x minus 3. So the linear factors here are x, x plus 8, and x minus 3. The zeros, you set each of those equal to 0. So x equals 0 is one of them. X plus 8 equals 0 is another. X minus 3 equals 0 is another. That second one, you can subtract 8 and you get x equals negative 8. Add 3, you get x equals 3. So the zeros are 0, negative 8, and 3. Cool? Let's do this one. So we want to find the zeros of this function by factoring. So we're going to start by factoring out that x, and you get x squared plus 3x minus 10. That part factors to x plus 5 and x minus 2. So we have x equals 0, x plus 5 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. So x equals 0 is already solved. That one you can subtract the 5, you get x equals negative 5, and then x equals positive 2. This one, again, we can factor out an x first. So you get x and then 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. You slip and slide here, so I'm going to multiply that 2 over, so you get x squared minus 5x minus 6, which factors to x minus 6, x plus 1. But we multiplied by 2 first, so we have to divide by it. So that's going to be x minus 3 and 2x plus 1. Now I've set those each equal to 0, so x equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, 2x plus 1 equals 0. So that one you get x equals 3. This one you can subtract the 1, then divide by 2, so x equals negative 1/2. Cool? Skip the next 4. And then let's look at multiplicity. So multiplicity is just the degree of the factors. So let's say that you had f of x, and this was already factored for you. You had like x cubed, x minus 5 to the 4th, and 3x minus 1 squared. Well, this factor will give you a multiplicity of 3 because the exponent there's a 3. This one has a multiplicity of 4, sorry. This one has a multiplicity of 2. So it's the exponent power there. So if we look at this, so we have x cubed plus 10x squared plus 25x. Let's factor it first. So when you factor that, you get, sorry, I skipped some steps, but you factor out the x and you get x squared plus 10x plus 25, which this factors to x, and then x plus 5, which you can write that like that because we have 2 of them. Well, that means x equals 0 and x plus 5 equals 0, which means x equals negative 5. The 0 has a multiplicity of 1, but the negative 5 has a multiplicity of 2. And I'll tell you what that means in just a second, but I want to just make sure you get down this multiplicity. This one, take out the negative x squared first. All right, again, skipping steps. So if we take out that negative x squared, you're left with x squared minus 3x plus 9, or 6x, sorry, 6x, which that factors to x minus 3, which is x minus 3 squared. So then that negative x squared equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. That negative x squared, that just means x equals 0, and x equals 3. That has a multiplicity of 2, that has a multiplicity of 2. Okay, so if we look at this, that factored is x and x plus 2 squared. So when the multiplicity is even, it is touching the x-axis at that 0. When it's odd, it is crossing at that 0. Okay, so let's look at this one. Here we have x equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0, which means x equals negative 2. This one is a 1 multiplicity, and this is a multiplicity of 2. So this is odd, which means it is crossing. This is even, which means it's touching. So if I look at this graph right here, I have a 0 at 0, 0, and I have one at negative 2, 0. From what we learned last time, this is odd and it's positive. So this is going to start negative and end positive. So this is going to start down and end up. So this is going to go, on this first one, it crosses it, or it touches it, touch, and then cross. Okay? I'll get more into that in class. Let's look at this one. So it's given us it factored. So that means we have a 0 at 1, 0, multiplicity of 2, and it touches. This one would be 3 halves, because if we set this equal to 0, you get 2x equals 3, which means x equals 3 halves. Has a multiplicity of 2, and it also touches. That last one is negative 4, has a multiplicity of 1, and it crosses. This one, if you factor it, you'd get x cubed and x plus 4 squared. So 0, 0, multiplicity of 3, crosses. And then negative 4, 0, multiplicity of 2, and it touches. Okay, now the fun stuff. So long division. I know this isn't on your thing, but we need to do it. So we need to be able to do long division without a calculator. So let's see if we can remember. So if we're dividing 101,952 by 59. First we're going to see, does 59 go into 10? It doesn't. Does 59 go into 101? Yes, it does, one time. Then we're going to take that one and we're going to multiply it to the 59. That goes underneath. Now we're going to subtract. When you subtract that, you get 42. Now we're going to bring down that next number. Now we're going to see how many times does 59 go into 429? 7 times. Well, 7 times 59 is 413. Subtract it, you get 16. Bring down that next number. Now, how many times does 59 go into 165? Twice. 2 times 59 is 118. Subtract it, you get 47. Bring down the next number. How many times does 59 go into 472? 8 times 59 is 472. You get 0. So that means that 101,952 divided by 59 is 1,728 with no remainder. Okay, so we did some steps there. The first step was we divided, and then we multiplied, and then we subtracted, then we brought down, and then we repeat, and the very last step is to write your remainder as a fraction. Okay, write down those steps right now. Pause the video and write down those steps. I hope you pause the video. So this one, let's just divide it. How many times does 13 go into 54? 4 times. 4 times 13 is 52. Subtract, you get 2. Bring down the 6. How many times is 13 going to 26? Twice. 2 times 13 is 26. Subtract it, 0. Bring down the next one, 7. 13 going to 7, 0 times. 0 times 13 is 0. Subtract. We're left with 7, nothing else to bring down. So that's our remainder, and we're going to write it as a fraction over what we were dividing by. So 7 over 13. Okay, we are going to use that same exact concept with the steps to divide polynomials using long division. So we have x minus 2 x cubed plus 4x squared minus 16x plus 8 divided by x minus 2. So the first step is to divide, and I need you to write these steps down and the stuff I'm writing off to the side. So divide first with first. So we're going to take x cubed and divide it by x. You get x squared. And that goes on top above where the x squared term was. Now we're going to multiply to both terms. So we're going to take that x squared and multiply it to the x, and then x squared and multiply it to the negative 2. So negative 2x squared. Then we're going to subtract and change the signs. So when we subtract, that changes that to a minus sign and that to a plus sign. Those x cubes cancel. 4x squared plus 2x squared is 6x squared. Now we're going to bring down the next term. And now we're going to repeat that whole process. So we're going to start by dividing again first with first. So 6x squared divided by x, you get 6x. That goes up top. 6x times x is 6x squared. 6x times negative 2 is negative 12x. Subtract, change the signs. Those cancel. Negative 16x plus 12x is negative 4x. Bring down the 8. And then we're going to divide again. So negative 4x divided by x is negative 4. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. Subtract, change those signs. They both cancel, so we don't have a remainder, and that is our answer. Okay, let's do another one. So we have 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus 37x plus 12 divided by x plus 4. Start by dividing first with first. So 3x cubed divided by x is 3x squared. Multiply, so that's going to be 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. 3x squared times 4 is 12x squared. Subtract, change the signs. Those cancel. 12x squared, or 2x squared minus 12x squared is negative 10x squared. Negative 37 comes down. And then we're going to divide. So negative 10x squared divided by x is negative 10x. Negative 10x times x is negative 10x squared. Negative 10x times 4 is negative 40x. Subtract, change those signs. Those cancel. Negative 37x plus 40x is 3x. Bring down that next one, 12. And then we're going to divide again. So 3x divided by x is 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract, change the signs. They both cancel out, so we don't have a remainder. And that is our answer. Okay. Skip those examples for now. Let's go to this one. We're going to do it all the same exact way. So we have x to the fourth minus 5x cubed plus x squared plus 20x minus 10 divided by x squared minus x minus 5. So we're going to do x to the fourth divided by x squared is x squared, so that's going to go above our x squared term. And then multiply to all terms. I know I wrote both, but multiply to all terms. So x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. X squared times negative x is negative x cubed. X squared times negative 5 is negative 5x squared. Subtract, change the signs. Those cancel. Negative 5x cubed plus x cubed is negative 4x cubed. X squared plus 5x squared is 6x squared. Bring down that next one. And then we divide again, first with first. So negative 4x cubed divided by x squared is negative 4x. Multiply, so negative 4x times x squared is negative 4x cubed. Negative 4x times negative x is 4x squared. Negative 4x times negative 5 is 20x. Subtract, change those signs. So those cancel, both of those do, and you're left with 2x squared plus 0x. I'm just going to put that in there. Then bring down the 10. And I only put the 0x there because there we have like a gap, so I'm just going to put a 0 kind of as a place filler. Then we divide again. So 2x squared divided by x squared is 2. Multiply, so 2x squared, 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times negative x is negative 2x. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Change those signs. Those cancel, and I'm just left with 2x. And there's nothing left to bring down, so that is our remainder, and we just have to write it over what we were dividing by. So over x squared minus x minus 5. And that is our final answer. Okay? Let's do this one. So this one we're missing a term. So we have x to the fourth. We don't have an x cubed, but then we have x squared x and then a constant. So we have to put in a 0 for where that x cubed was. And then we just do everything the same. So divide first with first. X to the fourth divided by x is x cubed. Multiply, so x cubed times x is x to the fourth. X cubed times negative 8 is negative 8x cubed. Subtract, change the signs. You get 8x cubed. Bring that down, minus 64x squared. Divide 8x cubed divided by x is 8x squared. Multiply, so 8x squared, times x is 8x cubed. 8x squared times negative 8 is negative 64x squared. Subtract, change those signs. So those both cancel, so I'm just going to bring down the next term. Then I'm going to divide again. So 9x divided by x is just 9. 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 8 is negative 72. I need to have something to divide right there, or to subtract, so I'm going to bring down the 80. Now I can subtract, change those signs. You're left with negative 8. There's nothing left to bring down, so that's going to be our remainder. Plus negative 8 over x minus 8. Okay, save the last example. Remember to take the quiz. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being awesome. Okay, goodbye.